Swag out there and bow.
What's going on, everybody? It's Webster Style, the man, the voice, the fragrance. And we're here with someone who I've been talking to a lot in the DMs, not like that, over the years, but someone who always has a very whimsical way of putting a smile on my face with her wonderful memes. But she's not just about memes, or I should say, she's not just a meme queen. She's also a very talented model, cosplayer, just jack of all trades in many respects. And we're here with none other than Fervid Faye. Faye, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty okay. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm just good. I'm really good. Can't
Nice.
complain at this moment. Now, one of the things that I, outside of the memes, which we are always commenting on, you find such great memes, and I find really like the really nerdy ones the better. And I find them that's like, hey, you should see this, and just you know, little things that get you through the day.
Yes.
But one of the things that you know you have battled with regards to the internet, Instagram, all those good things is your modeling. And again, how, let me back up. How did you land into modeling?
I've honestly always wanted to be a suicide girl.
Okay.
And then I found out that suicide girl isn't what I thought it was. So after gaining that knowledge, I decided that I just was gonna do my own thing and figure it out as I go.
Okay. So do you have tattoos?
No. So actually it's not a requirement for a
Oh,
suicide girl to have tattoos, but you do have to be an alternative model, which technically I am. I have my tongue pierced, I have a couple of holes in my ears, I have dyed hair all the time. Um, but uh, Suicide Girls, I thought was alternative modeling, but it's just alternative models doing boudoir, which is not what I'm interested in.
got you. Okay. So what sort of modeling are you interested in for those who don't really know?
I I really love cosplay modeling. That's super much fun. Um, but I really enjoy fetish modeling.
Okay.
So anything that has to do with fun fetishes like slime or cool fetishes like rope that can really be artistic or wax, that's like my jam.
That's one of the things that I really enjoy as far as your work. There is an artistry to it. And I think now with the advent of the internet and the Instagram model, I put it that way, um, many people, both the consumer as well as those that actually creating the content, forget the artistry of it. In my opinion, they forget the art, the camera angles, the trying to evoke an emotion through the picture. And it's one of the things I think that you do very well. Um, you invoke an emotion, whether it is, sort of the bondage, shibari stuff, or that's how you say shibari, right? um, or if it's more of the sensual, or and one of the things I really like about you, not like you, but like about you, is that there is such a playfulness that really translates from you through the camera onto many of the photos you have online. And that's one of the things that I've always enjoyed as far as following you and interacting with you. There is definitely a playfulness, and you can tell you're having fun and it's not an act. And I think that um, many who go that route, they don't do a good job of conveying that. You seem like we hang out, we be laughing all the time. You seem like such a cornball in the best way possible. And that comes across in a lot of the modeling that you do. And I really enjoy that.
I really appreciate that because I do get in trouble on set sometimes because I am just so smiley and giddy and just a happy, bubbly character. Um, so I definitely run into people telling me I need to be more serious at
Right.
shoots. So it's really wonderful to hear that people actually appreciate what I do. So thank you so much.
Oh yeah, what is the old adage? Don't take life too seriously because you'll never get out alive.
Yeah,
And that's exactly the way it is. And I like that. I enjoy that. It's I will say it's one of the best things about art in general. Art is a wonderful way to escape real life, whether you are the one viewing art or you're the one making the art. And as a viewer, in many respects, to see, particularly, talking to you, that infectiousness, that fun, that life as a follower, it makes me want to follow because okay, this is art that allows me to escape, but also brings a smile to my face. It also, as someone who appreciates art, it's like, oh, this is really well done. I like the camera angles, I like the lighting, and again, maybe that's me personally getting too technical, but those are things that really make me like, wow, this is really awesome, and I really like that.
thank you so much. I'm really grateful that I've been able to work with photographers who also feel that way because it does. It makes such a difference when you have moody lighting or when you have a down angle or an up angle as opposed to just straight on. It changes the whole vibe. And I'm very grateful that all the people I have worked with have given me that. Definitely can't do it on my own.
That's just true. I understand. And so now, as far as your shoots are concerned, are, do they come from your imagination? Is it the photographer, or is it a combination of both? Or it's probably all three, depending on the shoot. But
Yeah. It definitely depends on who you're shooting with. Um, I I usually prefer when a photographer comes to me with an idea
mhm,
and then I can make it thematic. So, like, I know what to bring to a set to add a little bit extra, whether it be props or the costume or how to stylize the makeup, that kind of thing. Um, but it's usually definitely a joint effort.
mhm.
It is rare for me to be like, I have this idea and I want to shoot it. Because typically, if a model has an idea, she has to pay for it.
Got you.
So typically, sometimes I'll throw out there like a certain cosplay if somebody wants to shoot it. But for the most part, usually it's a photographer coming to me with an idea and then us figuring out how to make it work.
Okay. Speaking of cosplay, uh, what cosplay? What are cosplays that you haven't done yet that you want to do?
That
Too
is a
many?
very long list here. um, I have a lot. Uh, I got a lot of requests recently for Rogue, so she is going to be my next one because there was such a a response for her. Um, but I also really want to do some more horror cosplays. Um, there's so many, all the X-Men, all the DC villains. Just
Understood. Now, are you or were you a big comics fan?
yes. So my first comic was the Ewoks comic,
Wow. Okay.
and I have about 12 of those.
So are we talking like Dark Horse Star Wars? Or are we talking about like early Marvel Star Wars?
Like Dark Horse.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I have like Red Sonja, and I have a lot of graphic novels. I'm big into those. Um, so I definitely love comics. I do really enjoy seeing them come to life though. So I know that source material is important, but I also love when people take on the character and make it their own.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with you in that regard. I've been a life, well, I guess a lifelong as in since middle school comic nerd. And a lot of the stuff they are pulling from now, is really doing when I was like really deep heavy in the comics. Like we saw beyond and across the Spider Verse the other day, and I'm just like geeking out because there's
Yeah.
so many things from like when I was really, really, really heavy into Spider Man that that was in the movie. I was like, oh, and Spider Man. I love Miles, but my second favorite Spider Man will always be Miguel O'Hara. Spider Man 2099. So I was just seeing those things come to life, seeing how like I totally get it. I love, especially when it's done right, seeing
Yeah.
those stories that like leap from the page, seeing those characters come to life. There is, when it's done right, there's nothing like, even with the nuances, like, yeah, this didn't happen this way, this and that way. But when it's just done so well, you just sit back in awe that, you never thought in your life when you're reading a comic book that you actually see it recreated on the big screen or the small screen. And it's just what a time we live in as geeks.
Yes.
it
It's been amazing.
has.
Like, it's spectacular. Now, I will say though, I would really love to see them revisit Red Sonja, because even every person who did that movie was like, yeah, it was bad. So I would love to see them like give us her back.
Yeah,
That would
I
be
agree.
amazing.
I believe there have been plans for that.
Really?
There's always talk about it. It just has never happened. Um, and yeah, the Brigitte Nielsen and Red Sonja, you kind of take it for what it was back then. It was
Right.
a generic 80s fantasy movie. You liked it for what it was. You didn't like it because it was Red Sonja. If we really wanted to be Red Sonja, then you walked away disappointed.
Yeah.
So, I always took that movie for what it was. And especially seeing as a kid, it was like, oh, it's Red Sonja. Okay, it doesn't matter. It's Brigitte Nielsen, it's Arnold Schwarzenegger. It fit
Yes.
that mold, and you kind of just liked it. You didn't critique it. So yeah, I think that would be awesome if it's done right. I personally think that those sort of fantasy movies, Hollywood just has to figure out how to do again.
Yeah. They've lost their way a little bit.
Yeah,
But
because it's not all special effects. A lot
yeah.
of those movies were really story and heart and character. Even I saw someone put up a clip that I reposted from the original Conan, and I'm watching that, and then I'm thinking about that movie. And yes, there's some great special effects, but Arnold embodied Conan. James Earl Jones was the bad guy, so you know what sort of gravitas he brought to the role. It was so good for its time, and I think of all the other fantasy. I'm pushing 45, so I grew up in the 80s. Like so, Krull, all Beastmaster, all those fantasy movies from the 80s, I grew up on, and there's something about the way they were done that really immerses you in them. And I think that outside of, we got Lord of the Rings, we got the big budget fantasy movies in the past 20
Right.
years, but there's something missing because I think back when they tried to redo Conan with Jason Momoa, and there was something lost in that translation with how that movie was done. And it wasn't horrible, just it wasn't great. And there's so like the pieces were in place, but there's such a formula in Hollywood now, in
Yeah.
my opinion. And that formula doesn't apply most times to the way fantasy, like those sort of gritty fantasy movies really need to be. And that's why I think you really have to get somebody talented to helm and write a Red Sonja, in my opinion.
You know what I would love?
What?
Whoever directed Gotham, the TV show,
Yes.
should direct it. That's
Yes.
who they should pull in to do it.
Especially like the first 2, 3 seasons. That was just so well done, and it really captured that grittiness of Gotham City, in my opinion.
Yes.
Definitely,
Yes.
definitely. All right, let's shift to gaming for a minute. Okay, so let's see. So at the current time, you put almost a month into Hollow Knight Voidheart, and almost 2 weeks into Kingdom Two Crowns. Okay, side note, ladies and gentlemen, just to let you know, I did not go over to her house. She's quite a far away from me, if I understand. I did not break into her house. We hooked up on Xbox Live, so I'm able to see these things. Just to let you know. So yeah, let's talk about your gaming obsession.
I do. I have a problem. I love Hollow Knight so much. It is my absolute favorite game of all time. Um, they're supposed to be dropping Silk Song, but I'm just at this point super convinced it's never going to happen because they just delayed it again for
It's
like
been
the
like a year,
sixth
right?
time. What?
Has it been delayed for like a year? It's been a while.
So I remember it was supposed to drop in like 2019,
Oh
and
wow, it's been that
then
long. Okay.
COVID happened, which,
Right.
like, okay, we get it. But then it was supposed to drop in 2021, and it didn't. And then they were like 2022, and it didn't. And then this time they were like, oh, it's gonna drop in March. So, not March, this month, June 23rd. It was supposed to come out this month. And like they even gave us like a month and a date this time. So I
Right.
really thought like, yes, it's finally gonna happen. And then like 2 weeks before, they were like, just kidding.
Oh man.
Like,
I felt that way as well. Well, it wasn't as bad. If you look, you see I've been playing a lot of Star Trek Resurgence, and that game was like a year, pushed out a year, and it was like, when is it coming out? When is it coming out? It actually came out on the third release date, I think it was. I was happy about that. But I understand about that constant pushback, and you're talking about almost 4 years now. And
yeah,
I've heard, a lot of people talking about Silk Song and it being delayed, and yeah,
it's so depressing because like they're showing you all of the trailers and like it looks amazing and
right.
just, just give me the game. And I was literally just having this conversation with one of my friends the other day about how, at this point, because of all of the delays that happen for these types of games, just give me a disc. Give me a finite
God,
disc game
yes.
that I can buy or download or whatever. And if you still want to do DLCs at a later point, by all means do that. But at least give me the core game so I can
Right.
play whatever I want.
It- yes, I feel the same way. Just in general, as far as disc media and everything. But yeah, I agree. Just give me something like send the DLC later. Just give me the disc now. I get it. Totally get it. Now, with that, are you into Metroidvania style games in general, or is it just Hollow Knight?
Okay, so this is the type of gamer I am, right? I have no idea what that means. Like people keep saying that to me. I'm like, I don't know. I would call Hollow Knight a platformer game, right? A side scroller, open map. Like it falls into so many categories, I feel like, that it makes it hard to, if it's like Super Mario World, I'm interested.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, that really comes from, and that term really comes from Castlevania Symphony of the Night. So a lot of that map open world backtracking, and
Okay.
then Metroid as well. So that's why I called it a Metroidvania, because it's in the style of that Metroid and Castlevania made famous. So you got the platform, you got the back and forth, you got the mapping going to secret. So yeah, so that's where that term comes from.
Thank you for that.
No problem.
You have much knowledge.
Hey, I also do a video game show.
Oh, well, you should make sure you send me the link to that one
Oh,
because I would
definitely,
watch that.
definitely. So okay, so
Oh, and the other ones are like,
yes,
I'm gonna, the Broforce. Broforce is super much fun. I don't know if you've ever played that. It's a
I'm
stupid,
familiar, but I've never played it.
it's great. It's so stupid. And that's also how I think about the games that I play. I think almost all the games I play are pretty dumb, but like I really enjoy them.
That's all that matters.
So it's like 8-bit and you're like blowing thing up. And all of the characters are all famous bros. So it's like,
Okay, I know exactly what you're talking about now.
yes,
Yes.
that game is so much fun.
Yeah, I know, like I said, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, I haven't played that, but I have seen it and seen many videos as far as that is concerned. So yes,
And then the other one was Kingdom Two Crowns. Kingdom Two Crowns is super
yes,
fun. It's really just like a, I guess technically it's a strategy game, but like it's a
yes.
scroller back and forth. it's just really fun. It's 8-bit. The music is amazing. You get really immersed into the game that you're playing, and it has like the days and the nights. That's the only thing I don't like about it is there is a specific amount of time that you have to be playing the game. So like in order to beat it, you have to put in 30 hours. There's just no way around it. And they have 4 DLCs.
Oh wow. Well, now did you buy it or did you get it when it gave away for Xbox Live?
Oh, I bought it.
Okay.
And all of the other.
Okay, because I looked it up. I'm like, oh, they gave it away on Xbox Live. Okay, so it's in my backlog that I'll never get through.
Yeah, hey, if you know any games that are akin to any of those 3, please let me know so I can play something else while I'm waiting on Silk Song.
No problem. Do you have Game Pass?
Yes.
Okay, all right, definitely. I will definitely figure out something. They put a lot of those Metroidvania style games on Game Pass as well. Oh, what was, you know what? Since I'm here, let me look at my Game Pass to see, give you that recommendation because there was one that I started playing. Now, again, I will tell you, I literally, I'll pop in, I'll play something, and then I may not come back to it again because one, I had that kind of time, and two, I like to get in, get out, and there's just so many games I'm playing and I want to play. Recently added, popular. Okay, blah 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 blah. Where is leaving? Okay, I know it's breathing soon. Okay, never mind. It's being anti at the moment. Oh, it's called Ghost Song. That's what it's called. Ghost Song and also Dead Cells are two
Oh,
games
I
that.
like Dead Cells.
Okay, yeah. Ghost Song, I liked playing that. It is really fun. And I will tell you, I'll give you another recommendation. I'm not sure how you are into like story driven games, but there's a game that I'm playing through called As Dusk Fall. Okay, no, okay, great.
Nope. If I have to if I have to talk to an NPC or
Oh,
anybody like Assassin's Creed, can't play it.
no, no, no. This is kind of like you picked a dialogue tree and the actions happen, or you have to do what okay, all right. No for you.
Like I don't like I just want to play the game.
Right.
And I don't want to have to talk to anyone. And I also don't want to have to like read instructions to make
Understood.
sure like I'm playing the game right.
Understood.
Like I like the tomfoolery of just exploring. But then I don't like stuff like that Viking game that was released. Val is it Valhalla?
Valheim,
Valheim.
yes.
I don't like those types of games.
Yeah, that didn't appeal to me either, honestly. It's just like I'll pass. I am I wouldn't say I'm particular. I will, especially with Game Pass, there are a lot of games that I've loved. Like we both have played Carry On, and Carry On is absolutely wonderful.
Yeah,
Such a beautiful game. Uh
it's fun.
yeah, exactly. It's so fun. But a game like that I probably would not have played with if not for Game Pass.
Right.
So you know, so there are a lot of games that I've played that I normally wouldn't. And like, okay, I need to check this out. Oh, this is really, really awesome. This is really fun. And there are other games that have come out that just absolutely look amazing. Like, oh, I'm so glad it's on Game Pass because I can just play it, save me a couple bucks. Like, yes.
Yes.
So I'm gonna get back into your modeling because there's something that I think goes against the stigma in many respects of OnlyFans. It's the erotic part. It's yes, some of your art is, you know, erotic. There's nudity involved at times, but one of the things I always appreciate is that you have stuck very much to your core as far as the sort of art you want to put out. It's about art. It's not about um, adult content per se.
Yeah. So that's been a really big thing for me. I want to create a space where sensualism takes
Thank
precedence.
you. Yes.
So I now I have made some changes as of recently because there's just more money doing what people expect of others in
Right.
that,
Understood.
right? But personally, I do really prefer getting you all the way to the edge and then you have to finish the rest. Like,
Right.
I want to leave imagination available for
Right.
people. I feel like that's just not common anymore.
Yes. Yes, I agree. I so agree. Whether it's male or females, having conversation with whether friends or associates, and we talk about, and I will reference it, we tend to have these conversations in reference to particularly ladies, how people dress, how ladies dress online, how there's a difference between sensuality and showing your beauty, showing your curves, what have you, and just being sexual about it. And
Mhm.
there is a and my group, my friend circle. I say that because look, everybody doesn't feel the same way. Everybody doesn't see it the same way. But in a lot of my friend circles and conversations I have, both male and female, we all feel that art of sensuality when it comes to male female interdynamics, whether it is, and again, I can't really say how men dress as far as being sensual because typically we're not really just half naked, or most of us don't have really curves or accentuate unless you're like muscle man. But there is something about the sensuality of women in dress that I think in many respects we lose, and that tease, so to speak, that this is what I am, but there's so much more and what you like to see without saying, okay, let me walk around the airport with my vagina hanging out, sort of thing. There's a fine line. And also, and this is why I'm saying this is one of the things I've and again, please don't, anybody listen, don't take this as a disparaging remark on anybody who does this or does not. That's not what I'm saying. But one of the things again I like about your content is that there's a class about it. It is not just there. There's maybe an old school sensibility to how you do things in many respects.
Yeah,
And I appreciate that.
I thank you so much. I appreciate that. Because that's like one of my biggest draws of inspiration is back in the 20s when they would have those old timey photos of women. They were rarely actually naked, but people paid good money for them
Right,
because it was sensual and erotic,
right,
but they still had to use their imagination to get there.
right.
I think I think that's probably one of the reasons why I describe my work the way that I do, that it's artsy erotica,
Hmm.
because I'm not out here saying like I don't take my clothes off. I absolutely do. And my content can be sexual,
Right.
but that sexuality also should contain intimacy and
Yes.
sensualism, and you want it from me because you're not seeing it anywhere else. I evoke a very specific kind of feeling. That's my job. That's my goal. Yeah.
Now, one of the things about your modeling as well is that you are not a little girl per se.
No, I
You are
am
a
not.
very regularly shaped woman.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that and the confidence that you bring to the screen. But how's it impacted? But what sort of reactions have you had as far as your modeling, as far as your shape, both positive and negative as well?
Um, it's definitely been a wide array. I for myself personally, I don't want to be real thin like I used to be. That's not a goal of mine. I would like to drop weight that I have after breaking my back
Right.
because I feel less confident, and that's a problem. But I like my little pooch. I think it's cute. I'm fine with it. I also like that I have thick legs because I was an athlete when I was growing up. And even still, when you're dancing or when you're just having fun, I use my legs all the time. So I've
Right.
got great calf muscles and thick thighs. And I also like that having a little weight mm, makes me feel it makes me feel like the right crowd is going to be looking at what I'm doing, right? As opposed to, um, I'm not interested in fashion modeling,
Right.
so I don't need to be a fashion model, and that's okay. And people should be okay with that kind of stuff. But I mean, I recently have had plenty of people tell me, like, oh, you've gotten fat, or you know, maybe you should lose some weight if you're going to be in this line of work.
Mm.
And for me, that's just, we all talk about how follow your bliss, do what makes you happy. Well, this is what makes me happy. So I don't believe that I physically need to change anything to do something I enjoy.
Right.
Now, the biggest thing for me is that I don't care if people like my work. I like it. It's on the internet because I would like to share my work because I'm proud of it. But it's for me and it's not for anybody else.
Right.
Now, if you're here for it, that's great. I'm so happy. If you're not, you're on the internet. Go somewhere you're going to be happy. I don't
Right.
understand why you have to come into my DMs and be mean or rude. But the being a public figure, it is what it is. You have to have tough skin for the people who don't like you, thin skin for people who want to see you grow but might be giving you advice so you can advance in ways you never thought before. But like the good and the bad, I think my personality makes it a lot easier for people who don't necessarily like my body type to still accept me.
Mm.
And usually I have this conversation with a lot of people all the time. I don't get those gross messages, those gross emails where like people have dick pics or they're like, "Hey, baby girl, what's up? You want some fuck?" Like, that's not usually the type of people I attract.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been very, very fortunate to I deal with like one jerk off a month. That's not so bad. And then I just forget about him because I've had 6 concussions, so it's not relevant to me. There's only enough space in here for things that make me happy and that are important.
I have to. How did you get 6 concussions?
Ice hockey, soccer, indoor soccer, a couple of fights. Oh, I fell off a ski lift. That was fun. Got a concussion.
Whoa. Alrighty.
Yeah.
I definitely understand where you're coming from with regards to you're doing it for you because it makes you happy. I think that that is something we lose sight of. And even with all of this, I'm very content if no one watches, no one listens, no one likes, because I'm enjoying what I'm doing. It is my outlet, my release, my opportunity to be creative and be
Yeah.
witty and intelligent and all that good stuff. So I totally understand where you are coming from with this. Now, I have another question, totally different subject, but you cannot be here with Webster Style without asking you, excuse me, I'm not asking me anything, asking you, are you into fragrances at all?
Yes. Yes. My favorite one is Not a Perfume by Juliette Hasgan.
Okay.
That is my one splurge item. It's $125 a bottle, but it does last you a very long time. But it's like my power scent.
Understood.
If I'm going on a first date, or if I have like an interview, or even if I'm doing one of these and I feel like I need to be confident, I'll wear that.
Understood. I'm the same way. I have my fragrances for whatever occasion. Well, you've seen my content, so you know.
Yeah, like, and the one that you sent me that one time, it did smell really good, but there was something, the musk was off for me.
Mm,
And I know musk is such a tricky thing to
yes.
figure out, because no matter what kind it is, once you put it on your skin, it's going to change.
Yes.
And making sure that whatever goes with my pheromones is a little tricky.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you heard what she just said, because I always say fragrances are very intimate. And just because it smells a certain way on one person does not mean it's going to smell the same way on you.
Yeah.
Because everybody's body chemistry is different. Everybody's pheromones are different. The soap you use is different. The way your skin absorbs it is going to be different. Yeah. But okay. But yeah, it's a wonderful journey though. Testing
It
them out.
is. I just wish it wasn't so expensive.
You
But
think I'm
I
spending?
but
I'm
I
not
definitely
spending.
understand spending good money on like good colognes,
Yeah.
perfumes.
Let me ask you this: I guess as far as, are you aware of, say, any significant others, male or female, any fragrances they've worn that you just absolutely loved?
Pretty much anything by Giorgio Armani
Okay.
smells divine. That dude's unlocked a code for men cologne. You walk into a room and you've got that on, and like you're winning. I also really like, there's, I know this isn't going to be helpful but it's a blue Calvin Klein bottle.
Okay.
I don't know what scent it is, but it is a men's cologne and it smells wonderful. It smells like a nice salty breeze.
Got you.
Delicious.
I'm drawing a blank because that's only because I'm not as familiar with all of Calvin Klein's line. I've only had like a couple Euphoria and the River for that, as well as CK Shock. So I'm not as familiar with all of their fragrances.
It's the CK summer bottle.
Okay.
That's the one.
Okay. All right. So you have any shoots lined up lately or in the coming future?
So, no,
Okay.
no. I would like to. Right now, I'm in a position where I want to do some cosplay shoots,
Hmm.
but that costs money. So I need to do some
Understood.
boudoir shoots. But I haven't really met anybody in the Pittsburgh area who pays models yet. So,
It's a work in progress. Understood.
yeah.
Understood. Well, Faye, I want to thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. Tell everyone where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram at Fervid_Faye, FAYE, or on Twitter, which is also Ravish Raven. And it's Raven with a 3, because I had to do that whole rebranding, so I never changed it. I think that's probably, Instagram is the best place to find me.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, Webster Style, the man, the voice of fragrance. Thank you for staying with us, listening all the way through. And you know where to find me. And we'll see you next time.